Risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 184 of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. What's up, sir?
Actually, really thinking about it, I think it is episode 184.
It's episode whatever it is, because we're talking about Survivor Series 2017. Isn't that right, Scholar Brian?
Yes, indeed we are, and what a card it's turning out to be. That definitely a lot different than a week ago.
Yeah, I don't know what is with WWE suddenly transforming their good shows, their alright shows, into must-see television, but
it's
holy crap, keep it going.
It's one of the big four. They kind of was like, you know what? It's one of the big four pay-per-views. This is one of our oldest running shows. We got to treat this thing better.
But let's face it, okay, last year, okay, not the best lineups. Going into this show, okay, this looks like it could be the best card the WWE has had in years.
Oh, this honestly looks like a roster full of dream matches at this point.
Exactly. This is like WrestleMania 30, 31. Put them together, throw them in a bowl, and you got Survivor Series.
Yeah, so let's not waste any more time, but there is one little bit of discussion that we need to address.
That has at least one of us jumping up and down in his seat.
And we're going to talk all about it in a little segment we like to call Backstage News.
Indeed. We're going dancing around that curtain and checking in on a little
Backstage News.
Dancing all day. Dancing. Oh, what a happy day!
And why are we dancing?
Sit down and tell us about
why are we dancing? Why is it such a happy day?
Well, for me it's a happy day because announced today, James Ellsworth is finally gone. Finally gone. He was released from his contract in WWE. His time is up. Yay! And I'm apparently the only one that's actually really happy about it.
I miss him already.
I'm not going to go that far. I'm half on your side, being like, good Lord, he's off the TV, thank God. Because, let's face it, the joke was up about 2 months in to the year he was in the company. Okay, the joke was up. It was no longer funny.
It seemed like he was reaching that true critical mass where it just seemed like they had absolutely nothing else to do with him. But at the same time, as far as in strict regards to how he was utilized, they did the most with a guy in his position that they could, as far as I'm concerned.
I will give him props for one thing. Okay, he came in to be a jobber for a day during Braun Strowman's little jobber kick. Okay. He cut a promo that was apparently so good he got a year-long contract.
Yeah,
okay.
That's more than you can say for
and
a lot
I
of guys.
really like the line that he came up with. Anyone with two hands has a fighting chance. That's actually kind of motivational. Okay. So I'll give him credit. I give him the respect he's due for what he, as the person, was able to accomplish. But let's face it. Okay. The first 2 months that he was in the company, okay, I'll roll with it. It was a good time. The joke was still kind of funny. I didn't mind him being on the TV. Like right before he got into the world title mess. And he was just a dude roaming around the screen. Everyone's making fun of him. Okay, he's wrestling every now and then. Good, whatever. It's a little joke segment, and then it moves on. Okay? Then he got put into the Dean Ambrose AJ Styles storyline, and I'm like, okay. Starting to get a little old. Okay, and stuff is happening here that shouldn't be happening to either guy. Okay? And then the whole Carmella thing. So they gave him a year-long contract off of one promo, one line. Okay? Because he randomly came out with the words, "Any man with two hands has a fighting chance." And they were like, okay, oh, this guy actually has something. Give him a contract. And then 2 months in, you find out really doesn't have much. Really doesn't have anything. But you have him for a year, so you figure, because it's only a year, you milk it. You milk it for everything it's worth, and when it's done being worth anything, you milk it some more. and that's basically what they did. Okay, they had enough in the tank for this guy for about 2 months. They
At
stretched
least for
it,
one gag.
They stretched it over a year, and by the time I give him, as I said before, I give him respect for actually being able to get a contract, because look at the guy. Okay, there was no reason at all that he should have been a WWE superstar. Okay? Looking at him, not knowing that if you're a first-time watcher of the WWE, okay, and you see that guy, it makes you think that you can do anything. And because of that guy.
That is that was part of the original gag with him.
So I'll give him respect for that. Okay, but the last 10 months, been a bit of an eyesore. So
I will give you that in the sense that they definitely were starting to run short of ideas for the guy. But as far as when he was around, again, you can say however you want about his on-screen character and what he did. He came in to fulfill a very specific role. He went above and beyond, and he generally seems like a generally hardworking, likable guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not.
Did his on-screen character always work? No, but at the same time, again, it was only a year contract. He had a limited shelf life. Even he knew it. So his approach seemed to be, okay, might as well do what I can with this and peace out when I'm done.
And I'm playing it this way before we go into Vitriol City over here. But I blame WWE Creative for this because I agree. Okay, James Ellsworth did what he could with what they gave him. Okay, I never had a problem with him personally. I had a problem with everything that WWE Creative was putting him in. AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose did not need him in there. Okay, Carmella. Okay, maybe at the beginning for a couple weeks have a little stalker storyline, whatever, for James Ellsworth, whatever. And then it turned into 6 months. I'm like, that's on creative. That's not on him. So it's WWE Creative taking an idea, taking a funny gag, and stretching it until it couldn't be stretched anymore, and that will bring in our
other thoughts.
Yes.
Okay. The only thing I will give him credit for, other than getting completely destroyed by Braun Strowman, was I like that he was basically being used as a tool for the Dean Ambrose AJ Styles storyline. It should have ended after the whole James Ellsworth quote-unquote heel turn and Dean Ambrose kills him.
Agreed.
That's how he should have disappeared to never have been seen again. The second they actually tried to go somewhere with this heel turn by having him team up with Carmella and just have him become I can't even just think of the right word to say other than just a quote white trash, like an annoying little white guy pretending to be black. And First, it starts off with him having a little crush on Carmella, even though everybody knows he's married and everyone knows that Carmella's with Big Cass. So it's like, why are we forced to believe this when it's obviously nonsense? And then she dressed him up into pretty much to become a WWE storyline version of Kevin Federline. Yeah, I don't want to see a WWE version of Kevin Federline on my screen.
We already had it.
Week in and week out.
We had literal Kevin Federline on our screen at one point.
Yeah, and then every
and he beat Cena.
And every time he kept showing up, I wanted to change the channel. I made it perfectly clear. Him and Carmella was the weak link every time when SmackDown was beyond better than Raw. Beyond better than Raw. And at that point, I'm just looking at him, and he's the Jeepers to my Freakazoid. Every time he shows up on my screen, I just hear him go, "Want to see something strange and mystical?" And I'm yelling, "No! Get out of here with no chins! Lay off them poor divas, will you? Jeez, you're a creep! Go away! We were all having a fun time until you showed up, Ellsworth! Ugh! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something, this is a happy place!" And it's actually me being very frustrated. How Freakazoid hated the Jeepers, I hated the Ellsworth. The second I read the announcement, he was getting fired. His contract was coming up, and they're just continually beating the shit out of him, showing how completely worthless he is. I was just having the biggest smile on my face. I was like, na 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 na, hey hey hey, good fucking riddance.
And you know what's,
there's your one.
And you know what's really weird? Okay, everyone was talking shit about James Ellsworth. Everyone. The last 6 months. The second he gets let go, all of a sudden, it's back to when he was getting beat up by Braun Strowman, and everybody loved
everyone has the sad face, and now everyone's like, James Ellsworth, #legend. I'm like, that's it. I give up on humanity. I give up on the WWE universe. I give up on the internet wrestling community. You are all just a bunch of idiots. Like, oh, he's gone? I'm so sad right now because he actually made the product so entertaining to watch. And I'm just looking there going, you people are high as hell to think this.
I'll just be like, I know why they're sad. Because they can't make fun of him anymore.
Unless he shows up on indie shows.
Well, that's not really the impression that I got 100%. The reaction was more like, okay, well, he's gone. Oh, well. Fun while it lasted. Got old after a while.
I don't know where you're seeing that.
I don't know where you're seeing yours.
Oh, I'm seeing mine all over Facebook and all over Twitter.
Well, that's probably your first mistake because I don't even bother with the Facebook anymore. Most of my discussion happens from the Twitterverse. I'll be very honest with you.
And a few buddies of mine on the YouTubes, they're all posting, "Oh, he will be missed." I'm like, no, he won't. You won't even think about him in 2 weeks. You won't even think about him the next day.
And you know what? I wasn't really thinking about him lately anyway, which tells me that you know what, his time was done.
His time was done after Dean Ambrose killed him.
Well, on the bright side, at least his last anything on WWE TV was getting beat up by Becky Lynch.
And
there's worse ways to go.
People getting beat up by Becky Lynch is always makes me happy.
Well, throughout the whole European tour, he was getting beat up by every single SmackDown woman.
And they were hitting finishers like the Stone Cold Stunner and the Undertaker chokeslam. So
there's worse ways to go
hit
out.
The pedigree?
Charlotte hit the chokeslam. I don't know anything other than that. I know about the stunner and I know about the chokeslam. I saw those two, but I wouldn't be surprised if anyone could hit a good pedigree. It's probably Charlotte.
Again,
Seth Rollins certainly couldn't.
Again, like I said, there's certainly worse ways to go out. And again, his time was up. We all knew it. So.
Hell, he should have.
Sayonara.
He should have disappeared when Braun Strowman threw him off the stage at Survivor Series last year.
Hey, but you know what? You made your money, dude. You made your money. You made your money off of one line. One line and one beatdown. You made money for a year off of it. Good for you. Now you can go away.
Yeah, good for you. Now, shoo.
Yeah. The man had his time.
Shoo.
The man had his time. You can technically say for the rest of his life he worked for WWE. He made it there. So, okay, good on you.
Where's
Moving on.
Gilbert? That's my response.
That's
okay.
the first thing I saw, actually, as soon as I heard that, I
Gilbert
was like,
versus James Ellsworth.
Book it.
Around the
Book
indies.
it on the indies.
Book it.
But anyway.
Book it because no one's ever going to see it. That's it.
Either way, James
Except for 10
Ellsworth.
people who show up at that indie show.
James Ellsworth, Godspeed. Best of luck in your future endeavors. But for right now, well, yeah. For right now, we got, in the here and now, we've got Survivor Series 2017. And, whoo boy, this is looking like a mega card. Starting with, on the pre-show.
Remember 2 weeks ago? When instead of going, oh boy, this is going to be great, we were like, oh.
You were. I was just waiting to see what the final card was. I'm just like, let's see how this.
Well,
builds
because they hadn't booked Lesnar. They hadn't booked Jinder versus AJ for the title yet. That's what I'm talking about. Before that, and it was Lesnar versus Jinder, and everyone was like, ugh. Like you had the thought. You had the thought that there could be something special here because of the SmackDown Under Siege the day after whatever pay-per-view that was. But TLC, I guess. Mm-hmm. But there was still a thought up until 2 weeks ago that, why would they do that? and now we're here today.
Yeah, so let's dive right in. Starting with the pre-show for the Cruiserweight Championship, Enzo Amore versus Kalisto. Fellas, who do you got?
I think it would be kind of silly to drop the title off Enzo right now. So I'm just going to go with Enzo.
I'll put it this way. Instead of it being silly, okay, there are better opponents for Enzo than there are for Kalisto. Kalisto was given the title and these opportunities for basically one reason, because he was challenging for it around the time of Eddie Guerrero's death and his birthday and all that noise. So that's why everything is going on. Now that has passed, rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero, so are Kalisto's chances for the Cruiserweight title. Enzo Amore wins. We move on to whoever's next.
Yeah, that's pretty much the most. What really does seem to be the most obvious pick of the show right now. Again, Enzo is money in the Cruiserweight division. He has been for a good long time. Like you said, this is just going to be a kickoff match. Move on to the next feud, to whatever that's going to be for Enzo.
When you have the fact that Kalisto completely forgets that he is the Cruiserweight champion, you know he's not going to win it back. When the time he was
He just needs to go around doing good lucha things. Woo.
Yeah, go around, do good lucha things on the first match of 205 Live every week. I don't need to see anything else from you. I've seen enough. That's it.
You won the title. You already established yourself as one of the big stars of 205 Live. Moving on.
Moving on to the good stuff, you mean. Starting off with Miz versus Baron Corbin. Who do you got?
For the rest of this show, okay, I'm basically not confident at all in any of my picks.
They did very well.
They did very well
with the build of these feuds.
Yeah, because really, okay, the whole time they obviously never touched each other.
Yeah.
Any people except for.
You had to go there.
I had to.
Except for the Under Siege segments, okay, none of these guys ever fought each other. I have to change my words.
It's on the internet now.
Over here.
It's on the internet forever now. You're screwed. I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
But they touch themselves all the time.
What makes sense to me here?
They wrestle each other, don't they?
Shut up.
What makes sense to me here, okay, is you're trying to build up Baron Corbin. Okay. He's the best he's ever been since he's held this title. Okay. You're obviously going to have the Miz Taraj out there. Okay, so I'm gonna pick Baron Corbin and have him do it strong. Take out both members of the Miztourage and the Miz. Because let's face it, the last couple months, something like this isn't gonna hurt the Miz. Because the Miz can cut a scathing promo the next night on Raw and get it all back. And as evidenced by the fact he's been murdered by the Shield twice in the last few weeks, and he's still one of the top guys on the brand. And fans in the IWC have not soured on him the way that they have others after being beaten. So I think that the smart move here is to give Baron Corbin the Roman Reigns. Make Baron Corbin look strong.
To that point, I'm going to say you're talking about Baron Corbin doing some of the best work he's ever done lately. I'm going to say that same thing applies to The Miz. Miz lately has been knocking it out of the park, and him being the good company guy he is, yes, it would make sense on a certain level that you're logically right that The Miz won't be hurt by this, but that, to me, doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the one to lose. If anything, I see The Miz taking this just out of a reward spot, and then maybe a feud comes to this down the road, maybe not. But either way, not only can this be a reward win for The Miz, but also, after all the beatdowns and all that, this can be a way to keep The Miz looking strong and keep The Miz looking like a credible threat, not just to the Intercontinental title scene, but also to pretty much anyone on the main roster right now. Fool, your turn. Break the tie.
This one I think Brian said it best. The rest of these matches are actually going to be very difficult choices. The one big thing about this build for me is that I feel like this one actually has been the weakest of all the matches.
It's basically been a YouTube build.
It's been a
Facebook Twitter feud.
And Baron Corbin going after Maurice and the unborn child. I'm gonna have to go with The Miz on this one, and it may be just me being biased because it's the Intercontinental Champion versus the United States Champion.
I'm surprised I didn't make that connection before. Shame on me.
But yeah, I feel I'm not 100% on the whole that Baron Corbin is at his best, since winning the title. I mean, the only feud he's been having is against Sin Cara, and he's lost 2 out of the 3 times. Actually, I think it's split now. It's 2-on-2. One was a DQ win, and one was just because it was the United States Championship match, and no one wants to see The Miz versus Sin Cara. I feel like Miz is in a better position to take this win more than Baron Corbin. But I will say Baron Corbin will be made to look strong in this one. He is going to completely annihilate the Miztourage, and Miz is just going to steal a victory here.
And what also goes into it for me is what I'm trying to do here is balance out. Okay, I think it's going to be balanced. I don't think that any one brand is going to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
So, with my other picks, SmackDown winning this one makes sense to me. So, and you'll understand as we go along.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
And I've actually was thinking the same thing too, kind of evening it out like between the Raw SmackDown wins.
Yeah, I'm sort of following that pattern too as much as I can. But again, we'll get more into that as we go down the roster. Speaking of which, next match on the docket, we've got The Shield versus The New Day.
The newest match announced.
The only way the Shield doesn't win this is if they start what we all expect to be the Dean Ambrose heel turn. Right, if they start this during this match. If not, the Shield take this all day. That's it.
So that's going to be your pick then?
I'm taking the Shield, yeah. I don't think they start the heel turn until after the brand war.
Yeah,
ends.
I don't think this... I'm with you there. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, if it does happen
And
at all.
until then, whenever the Shield is together, they're going to win.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
just
the way
have
it
a good
works.
feeling about the Shield. Fool?
I'm going to go with three-way on this one. I'm going to go with the Shield as well. Just because now with Undertaker, quote, gone, the Survivor Series is becoming more of the Shield show. 3 years ago, the Shield debuted at Survivor Series, taking down Ryback. And they've been dominant ever since. This is a top contender of being match of the night between these six guys. It's not a landslide victory. This match is this is probably gonna be one of the long matches, just because it's not taking anything away from the New Day, longest reigning tag team champions in history, putting on 5-star matches for the past couple of years. The
New Day doesn't get hurt by this.
Yeah, no one's going to get hurt by this. But it's going to be the Shield. It's because Roman Reigns is going to have that Mario star in his pocket the entire match, and he'll put it in effect at the end. And they're probably going to triple powerbomb Big E.
And you got to start the build for Roman Reigns being the challenger at WrestleMania.
Yeah, just the idea.
As much as you hate it, it's gonna happen. So in order for it to make sense at all, the dude beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. You can't have him lose here. You can't have, as much as I hate to say it, expect Roman Reigns to win every match he's in until WrestleMania time, except maybe the Rumble.
Okay, I need to wash that thought out of my mind right now. Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair. Champion versus champion.
Who do you have, fool?
I'll tell you what. This one was, for me, another difficult one. Well, they're all difficult ones. But for me, it depends on who's got the most to gain from this. But I'm going to say that I'm just going to go with Alexa Bliss for this one. I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss for this one because with her character like hers, her comeuppance is coming. And ultimately, I'm just not 100% convinced that someone from the other side is going to do it. So, again, my reasoning, I admit, is paper thin. But I gotta make a decision somehow, and this is it. I'm guessing that Alexa Bliss retains. Her ego gets even larger, if that can even be a thing. And then someone comes out of the woodwork, and we'll eventually get a challenger, which could, for all we know, be whoever the mystery challenger is on the SmackDown women's team.
Okay, so Charlotte just won the women's title. Okay, this was actually harder for me when Natalya was the champion. As soon as Charlotte won the title, she became my pick for this match.
So you're going with Charlotte?
Okay, she just won the title. She's riding high right now. And she's the top woman on the roster. Wrestling ability wise, character wise. Asuka's close, but
that match is a little while off yet.
Exactly. So Charlotte Flair is riding a high right now, and it's going to take her through the entire week. She won the title. She's going to win the match at Survivor Series. She's going to have what we call a really good week. That's it.
Full tiebreaker time.
I'm the one who's always ending the tiebreakers. I actually kind of like that. For this one, the deciding factor, I agree with Brian. This with Charlotte winning the SmackDown Women's title, the winner did become clear, and I'm also going to go with Charlotte because if this actually happens, I'm getting an extra point on this one.
No.
Oh yeah.
It don't work like that.
Oh, I know what you're calling.
What do you call it?
We're getting the big. We're feeling for Charlotte. She just won the title. She's celebrating with her dad. She's getting so much positive feedback right now. She's going to continue, like Brian said, she's going to continue that high, and it's not going to be a dominant. This is going to be a great match. But I think Charlotte's going to win, and Alexa Bliss, being the conniving little witch that she is, the sexy conniving witch, mind you, she is going to take out Charlotte, and we're going to have a cash in with Carmella.
Would you believe I actually completely forgot about her?
And between now and WrestleMania, Carmella is going to be that evil, sneaky James Ellsworth-esque champion who sneaks in the cash in and just somehow manages to keep the title on her until Charlotte. We want to see Charlotte get that moment again, which I think will probably be WrestleMania.
You know what? That's actually going to be incredibly interesting just because, again, I've completely forgot about the Carmella factor.
If Carmella cashes in, I'm giving myself a point. I'll make that a rule. I'll make that a rule on our prediction shows. If one of us says that's when the moment the person will cash in and that's what happens and they win, they get the point. I'm not just making that about me. Come on, that's not a bad rule.
That's not a bad rule, but you waited until you said it.
That's the big kicker. No. I am fighting you on that one.
Okay, how about this? We'll start that next year.
We'll put it up for discussion, depending on what they do with the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's fair. I will not fight you on. But speaking of more fighting,
I will rub it in if she actually does do that.
Well, that's why we're not doing it then.
Rubbing it in is fun. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, I'm not touching that one. Speaking of which, we're talking about the women's Survivor Series match. I've got no introduction for this. Team Raw: Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Asuka, Sasha Banks, and Bayley versus the SmackDown women's team of Becky Lynch, Carmella, Naomi, Tamina, and
Vacant.
Mystery Person.
And Vacant.
Who do you got?
And Vacant. It's
the greatest WWE superstar of all time, Vacant. I actually started following Vacant WWE on Twitter. It's like, Vacant, the greatest champion of all time. I'm like, yeah, I can't argue that.
Not wrong.
Yeah. I in order for balance, as I said, okay, because I have a feeling that Vacant is going to turn out to be Natalya. So, if that's the case, okay, Raw has one person on that team that makes it imperative that Raw gets to win. Because if Asuka loses this match for any reason whatsoever, they've already killed her.
I'll be honest with you. I'll go with the same reasoning here. Asuka is pretty much the linchpin here. Because I think we were talking about this before we even started recording. Who could they possibly get to one-up Asuka?
Yeah, and don't tell me Paige. No.
No one was going to say that, Brian.
Well,
IWC.
Oh boy, that might have been a thing.
IWC. No, Paige will not beat Asuka, and if she comes into this match as vacant and wins the match for SmackDown, I'm calling bullshit.
Paige versus Asuka 1-on-1, I'll completely agree with you. But a returning Paige coming in as a mystery partner in a multi-person tag team Survivor Series style match, that I can at least see her becoming a threat.
Becoming a threat, sure, but you can't have Asuka lose. You can't.
At least she doesn't. At the very least, she doesn't lose here.
Well, yeah. We're only talking about here, so that's it.
Either way, the long and the short of it is, in my mind, I cannot come up with a single challenger that WWE could produce that would possibly threaten Asuka here. Unless they bring back Karma, which is not going to happen. Fool?
It's honestly, it's clear as day. You guys pretty much hit it right on the head. It's the Raw Women's team. It's not even Asuka is the number one factor, but I feel like also when it comes to stars,
all SmackDown has is Becky.
All SmackDown has is Becky, and I would say Naomi.
Maybe Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi has established herself as a credible threat.
Yeah, it's better than what she was before.
Well, yeah.
During her SmackDown Women's Championship on,
yeah,
she really has established herself. But yeah, especially I even asked the factor if I could see Carmella being one of the early factors of losing, and then she'll get the big final laugh on the crowd cashing in on Charlotte. I'll keep pulling that out of my hat, even though I don't have a hat. Hats don't work with.
Borrow mine.
My hat. I don't really look good with caps.
And I think that's too
small. I think it is
too big. Yeah.
Yeah, my head's too big for this one, even though it is a very phenomenal hat. AJ Styles.
AJ hat.
The Styles hat. The Styles cap. But yeah, it's the Raw Women's team. It's gonna come down to it. And before we move on, because it's a Survivor Series match, who do you guys pick as survivors?
Asuka.
You think it's just gonna be Asuka?
I can see like it being multiple people on SmackDown. And just Asuka.
At least 2-on-1. At least.
At least. More likely 3. Because you want to build up Asuka as a monster, right? I don't know if they want to because of what they did with Emma, but hey, if you want to build her up as a monster, the best way to do that is to give her the Roman Reigns Survivor Series treatment. Have it be 3 against 1 and just have her beat the crap out of him. That's it.
Hey, if nothing else, the exhibition will be fun.
The smart move is Asuka only survivor.
I'm going to say Asuka as a survivor, but I'm also going to add Alicia Fox because I could just see her trolling her way into being a survivor.
You know what? There's
with
probably a chance of that.
Especially with her pushing as the whole captain thing. I could see her actually keep going with that, saying she was the captain who survived a Survivor Series match.
But I could also see her being the captain who was eliminated about 30 seconds into the match.
Oh, that too. Oh, I would be on the ground laughing.
Which is what I'm calling. I'm calling Alicia Fox versus Becky Lynch starts the match and Becky makes her tap out within 30 seconds.
I would be on the floor crying if that happens. I will be crying. I will be just bawling tears. I wouldn't be able to breathe.
Bawling.
I wouldn't be able to breathe if that actually happened. Brian, you would probably have to resuscitate me.
Well, this show took a really weird turn. Speaking of shows taking really weird turns, how about a good one for a change? Let's talk about a tag match. Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Usos. Who do you got, boys? Don't all answer at once now.
This, quite honestly, is the hardest one to pick because
They're both really good teams.
Yes.
They're both really good teams. There was no build. There doesn't need to be a build.
Both guys, throughout their title feud in the past 6 months, have been match of the year candidates with the New Day and the Shield. Which, surprisingly enough, it was the same art. It was an almost same argument because it's once again it's another contender being a match of the night candidate.
And based on my plan of balance, okay, this is, I have zero confidence in this pick. I have zero confidence in any pick for this match, but for balance alone, I'm picking the Usos. Because I had the Shield winning the other tag match. So I'm gonna give this one to the Usos.
Fool. Are you going with who you think I think you're going for?
Trust me, if I was thinking with my penis, I would be on Cesaro's ship all the way, baby.
But you're not.
But I want to. I really want to. But it's like what Brian said, the whole balance, and I'm gonna go with the Usos. I really don't. I really don't want to go with the Usos, but like I said, I can't think with my penis on this one. I have to think with my other head.
The only thing that I can see being a factor for a Sheamus and Cesaro win is the leg injury.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Sheamus and Cesaro, you could put, because of what we said about Charlotte earlier, she just won the title. She's coming in hot, so it makes sense that she wins. You could say that about Sheamus and Cesaro too, but they also just came off of a pretty bad loss to the Shield. So,
well, at least none of them were pinned.
Well, yeah. So the momentum isn't as hot as Charlotte. Charlotte, you need to capitalize on that. You need to keep going. This, I can see the Usos winning.
Yeah, I do too.
Because of that. Because there's no momentum for Sheamus and Cesaro.
There's really no momentum for either guys.
There's no momentum for it.
That's why this match was so challenging.
This is so unbelievably neutral, but I will say this.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. There's got to be some semblance of like backy forthy during this whole night, just in typical WWE fashion. So that is like only the big differential that I can see between these two teams. They're being booked at roughly the same level. One of them has to win. So, yeah, on strictly balanced terms, I've got to go with the Usos on this one.
And they never touched each other. God damn it.
I'm not even thinking about it. You can say it.
The only time they battled each other was in the Raw Under Siege. When Raw came in on SmackDown, the Usos jumped the Shield, and Sheamus and Cesaro ran in to save them. What? That's it. So that's the only time. So it's like you have no. There's nothing for this card that is like this happened at this show, so obviously the opposite must happen at the pay-per-view. There's none of that on this card. So you have to find a reason for your pick. And the only thing that makes sense here for anything is balance. So
yeah, this one is going to be a tough one, but again, we both know that all these guys can deliver, so I'm just going to enjoy the spectacle.
That's the one thing I like about this entire event. They're all these matches are very evenly balanced. They're very built neutral. That, like we said, it's the Shield. They're gonna win, but it's once again you can't take anything away from the New Day. It's same thing with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. They're both built extremely strong. Everyone's built extremely strong for this.
Everything on the main card, they did. I can finally say this for a WWE pay-per-view. I haven't been able to say this in years. They've finally built a very strong pay-per-view throughout the month.
Oh, yes, they did.
Where who knows what's going to happen? We could be completely wrong on all of our picks. This is very unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of unpredictable, here, let's go to the big two for the night. Starting with one possibility for the main event. The men's traditional Survivor Series match. We've got Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Triple H representing Raw. And then we've got Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and John Cena on the SmackDown side. I don't even know where to begin. Guys, what do you got?
I got nothing either.
Do not ask me about Survivors for this match, because I have no clue.
What do you think about Survivor Series?
It's the Survivor Series rule for the show. We have the Survivors section. Just throw names out there, man. Jeez.
Just throw names out there?
Whichever team you choose as the winner.
Oh.
What I want to do...
I thought you just said throw out random names.
What I want to do is I want to pick Raw because SmackDown won last year.
Interesting.
However, the catalyst here is Triple H. Because...
Not just Triple H, just the whole Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H build.
Well, yeah, but the thing, it's all on Triple H for this match in particular. Okay, does he stay the course with Raw, or does he turn on Kurt Angle in this match? If he turns on Kurt Angle, SmackDown takes it.
But will he turn?
But I don't think he will.
There are so many factors that could lead to someone turning on each other. There's even rumors of because Jason Jordan felt betrayed by Kurt Angle, that it would be the whole storyline would be a Jason Jordan heel turn. There's Triple H that you just talked about. There's even on the SmackDown side, there's the wild cards of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
And I think that's the more important thing. I think that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to cost SmackDown the win. I'm saying Kurt Angle and Triple H survive for Raw. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn cost Shane McMahon the match. And furthering the Shane versus Kevin.
You know what?
That.
The more you talk about it, the more reasons I'm coming up with a Raw win for this one, to be perfectly honest with you. If we're talking rosters alone, it's a virtual even split. But looking at all the outside factors, along with some other ones I'll get into later, this, in my opinion, I got to agree with you. I think Raw is going to take this year.
I'm going with Raw for taking it, and for only one reason, and that's the whole 25th anniversary that's coming up. They want to make Raw look super strong for the 25th anniversary.
I didn't even think of that. That's true too.
That's why I'm saying that Triple H is going to stay the course here. We know that we're probably going to get. I have a feeling we're going to get Triple H versus Kurt Angle in WrestleMania.
Oh, absolutely. That one's going to. I think that's definitely going to happen.
Now that, as soon as he came out on Raw and said that, and said what he said, I was like, okay, and they got into that little stare down. I was like, there's your WrestleMania photo right there for their match. Boom, there it is. It's already done. So, but that isn't going to start taking place until after Survivor Series. They're going to stay the course so they can take down Shane McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll move on to their issue on Raw. But we know how Braun Strowman is going to be eliminated.
Oh yeah,
we know.
We know
he's
how
going to be eliminated by Kane.
We know pretty much how most of the Raw team is going to get eliminated. Somehow, through a misunderstanding with Finn Balor, that's how Samoa Joe is going to get eliminated. Joe's going to get pissed off and attack Finn Balor, and that's going to cost Finn Balor the match. Braun Strowman's going to get taken out by Kane. So it's actually going to be Kurt Angle and Triple H through probably a good portion of this.
I think Braun Strowman takes out at least Bobby Roode. Braun Strowman will take out... I can see him taking out Bobby Roode and Shinsuke.
To be perfectly honest, I actually think I could see him take out Cena.
I can see him taking out Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, or Cena. One of them.
No,
I'm not
because they're gonna want Braun Strowman to come out looking like a monster, and then Kane will come out.
The only reason I'm not saying Nakamura here is because I still think there's a possibility they can use him to win the Royal Rumble, and they're gonna want him to at least still maintain him looking like a credible threat.
He's gonna be one of the final people.
He'll be. I think it'll be 2-on-2. I think it'll be Hunter, Triple H, and Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon and Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I think the closing factor in this is you're going to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn help Triple H defeat Shane McMahon, and I actually see Triple H being the one getting the final pin, and you just see him looking at Kurt Angle saying, "This is me. Me saving this for you."
Yeah, and
it's like the only reason you won is because of me.
And then you find out that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are moles for Triple H, which will make complete sense.
I don't see it fully going down as moles. I just basically it's like Kevin Owens is on great terms with Triple H, and he hates Shane McMahon. It's just him helping. It's not a whole Raw versus SmackDown factor. It's just Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Shane McMahon factor.
Yeah, either way, there's so many different factors that can add up to the same net result.
I'm going to second you, Brian, and I'm going to say my survivors are going to be Kurt Angle and Triple H.
And what could also be is they could say Shane McMahon sent Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn home, and during that time, Triple H gave them a little phone call.
That too.
Was like, "Hey, what do you think about doing this at the Survivor Series?"
I don't want Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn off of SmackDown.
Oh, I'm not saying that they're off of SmackDown. It's just Triple H giving them a phone call.
They interfere on Raw's behalf for one night.
Can you want to take care of Shane McMahon?
They may like SmackDown, they just don't like Shane McMahon. That much we know.
I just see them doing it in for themselves, not just because Triple H asked them to. I see Triple H and doing
that's
his
a possibility
own separate
too.
thing.
I'm just saying there is a chance because of the fact that Triple H is the one who brought Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in. So I'm like, there's always that chance.
I see a handshake with Kevin Owens with Triple after they take down Shane.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, hi Hunter, how you doing? All right, bye. We're serving him on a silver platter just because I like you so much.
Or it could be like, you gave me the title. You gave me the Universal title. Here, this is my gift to you.
I can see, honestly, I can see them go, just with this hyper happy thing that Sami Zayn is doing. I can just see him going up to Triple H and just being like, "Hey, Triple H, good to see you. Oh, wow, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later." I had to do it.
So very well done.
Thank you. But again, that brings us to our what could possibly be one main event. Not quite sure which match is going to end it, but either way, we got Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, champion versus champion. Fellas, who do you got?
I'm saying that this is the obvious match to end it. Champion versus champion.
But who wins?
It's a match that actually makes sense as the end match. not as the other one was, Lesnar versus Mahal. If that ended the pay-per-view, oh my god. but
it's like,
this, okay. I don't think Lesnar loses until WrestleMania. That's my god honest opinion. Okay,
So I
don't think it's smart for Lesnar to lose until WrestleMania. I will say that AJ Styles will put up the biggest fight. AJ Styles will last the longest.
This will definitely be Brock Lesnar's best match as Universal Champion.
He will bring Brock Lesnar closer to a loss than he's been since this title reign began. But Brock Lesnar is money. Vince McMahon knows this, and he also knows that the best way to build him up for a main event match at WrestleMania, he can't lose. And AJ Styles does not get hurt by being beaten by Brock Lesnar. Okay.
He won't be hurt by this, but yes, Brock Lesnar does. He shouldn't lose until on the build to WrestleMania. That's why I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar as well. But it's the one deciding factor of how it's going to end, and the one factor that actually is missing from this show is Jinder Mahal himself. And I actually see him being the benefact of why AJ Styles loses. So it doesn't hurt AJ Styles losing to Brock Lesnar. It's gonna look like AJ Styles might actually win until Jinder and the Singh brothers show up, distract him, and then while the ref is distracted with the Singh brothers, Jinder Mahal comes out and takes down AJ Styles.
And then after the match,
Brock Lesnar F5.
And then after the match, okay, Brock Lesnar murders Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers, just because he remembers what Jinder Mahal said about him before the title changed. So
I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm just going to go with AJ Styles on this one. For a number of reasons. Number one, if we're looking at the even split theory as far as who's going to win this whole show, I'm thinking AJ Styles can be the linchpin that takes it and breaks whatever tie that they're leading up to towards the end of the night. That's number one. Number two, the idea that AJ Styles, again, could take that loss and not be hurt by it, you're right. However, this is also Brock Lesnar we're talking about. Brock Lesnar looked like a threat coming out of the womb. I think he can handle this.
I'm sorry, the out of the womb thing actually just clicked in on me now.
That was awesome.
Delayed reaction.
That was
right.
awesome.
It was just like it's like out of the room. Oh, I see what you did there.
Dangerous vaginas. All right. But yes,
suplex vaginas.
Yes, that's how they work. But anyway, all that aside, even if Jinder Mahal does end up interfering, which I'm not 100% convinced that he will, for all we know, he could even end up attacking Brock, just out of all the insults that him and Heyman have been just dumping on him, like, oh yeah, you're not on his level, blah, blah, blah. Literally, Jinder Mahal could be used for any purpose in this match, if they even use him at all. So, if anything, because this match of the night are up in the air, are really hard to call, this is one of those matches where I'm just going to completely follow my heart on this one, for better or for worse, and I got to go with my boy AJ.
Actually, with you saying that with Jinder Mahal attacking Brock Lesnar, I see that happening too. I actually see it more happening than my previous statement on how it's going to go down.
I could see him trying to attack both of them and failing.
I could see the Singh brothers distract AJ Styles, and then you see Jinder attack Brock Lesnar for all the things he said, and once he puts the Beast down temporarily. AJ Styles comes in and takes out Jinder Mahal, and that distracts him to when Brock gets up and gives him an F5 to lose, to beat him. Again, it's how I view it, because you picked a different prediction, fool. Jinder Mahal will be the main factor of AJ Styles losing to Brock Lesnar, because they're both on the SmackDown brand. They can actually keep that going. This is Jinder's one and only real opportunity to get a good upper hand on Brock Lesnar for all the things he said.
And the way I see it, yeah, AJ Styles is in a different wrestling league than anyone that Brock Lesnar has faced this last year. But he took out Samoa Joe in 6 minutes. He took out Braun Strowman in 8. Okay, I don't think it's smart to have him lose before WrestleMania. That's the big story going into WrestleMania. Who can beat Brock Lesnar? Who can take him down? And you can't do that if you have him lose the Survivor Series.
Which is why you don't do that storyline. It's been done before. He's been beaten. He can be beaten. He's been beaten by Goldberg several times. He can be taken down. He's been taken down before. So the object cannot be who can beat Brock Lesnar, because we all know somebody will. By having him lose to AJ Styles, suddenly, if there ever was that aura of him being absolutely untouchable, then you take that away. Now, suddenly, there's blood in the water. Now, suddenly, this opens up the floodgates where just about anyone on the Raw roster, anyone from your Finn Balor's to your Samoa Joes, basically anyone on the Raw Survivor Series team and beyond, suddenly the audience can see that Brock Lesnar as he is now, rather, that he is extremely tough. He is still the champion, but he can be taken down by someone who's skillful enough. Then the question becomes, who is it going to be off of the Raw roster to do so, but who is actually going to end up challenging him? And that's going to be the big question mark that goes into not just the Royal Rumble, but all the way up to WrestleMania. Who can do it?
That big of a question mark.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a question mark either.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
We know who it's going to be.
I'm sorry, with this, the whole WrestleMania main event has been, like, at least they've had this match since before last year's WrestleMania.
I feel like as much as people hate what I'm about to say, I feel like they want Roman Reigns to be the one to beat Brock Lesnar. The one.
If they want to be stale and predictable, sure.
And it's the WWE, so they want to be stale and predictable. Yeah, they changed the title to AJ Styles, but that was only to have a better match. As the main. So, as much in my cynical mind,
I know what you're saying, fool, and I completely understand where you're coming from, but
it's my cynical mind. It's my cynical WWE mind telling me they want Roman Reigns, the guy who beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
They want to have the two guys who beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania to fight each other for the big belt.
And they want Roman Reigns to be the only one. And
here's a question. I got a question. Yes, you got the whole Undertaker thing tying them both together, but do you necessarily need the title to do that?
Yes.
For Vince McMahon's eyes, yes.
I submit that you really don't need the belt for that, though. The bragging rights to the best man who beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, who the better man is, that story right to self, you do not need. I submit that you do not need the title to.
And I'm sure
that match.
That's not the question.
For me and Brian, we're 100% with you.
Yeah, we agree on that.
We agree on that statement. You have the two guys who beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania alone. Yeah, that alone.
You don't need the title to do that, but the title's got to be there.
But Vince McMahon wants the title to be in this situation.
I still have reasonable doubt. I see what you're saying. But
Because you
I'm
want
just
Finn
not.
Balor to be the one going into WrestleMania as the champion. That's what you want.
That's what everybody wants.
That's what
I didn't
everybody
say
wants.
that. I did not say that.
Well,
It would be neat. The fact of the matter is, it's just one of several possible different outcomes that could result in a more entertaining WrestleMania than just straight up Brock versus Roman for the title.
and I'm sure that I agree with you. We all agree with you. But once again, cynical WWE mind. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, WWE title. Roman Reigns the only one to take down Brock Lesnar this year.
Universal title.
The Universal title.
The
yeah.
Universal title will be Vince McMahon's, like, what's the word? Big names fighting for a big title. The WWE title is going to be what the wrestling fans want.
Yeah. The Universal title is for the guys
This is the skeptical,
who
not the spectacle. Skeptical.
it's the spectacle match.
The skeptical spectacle.
The-
That's pretty much this entire show. The
Pretty
skeptical spectacle.
Pretty much.
Yes.
That's what this whole what
Yeah.
this whole one little debate between the three of us. Well, in our case, Brian.
Would
Brian
love
versus you.
Would I love AJ Styles to walk out of Survivor Series with a win over his belt over Brock Lesnar? Of course I would. Anybody in their right mind would. I just don't see it happening.
Well, again, at this point, it seems we've reached an impasse, so we're going to have to wait until Sunday to find out for sure. In the meantime, we've heard what we have to say. Now it's that time of the show where we turn it over to you, the wrestling fan audience. So, of course, you can drop us a line at any of the usual avenues. If you're watching us on YouTube, first of all, thank you for joining us. If you are here, why don't you give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe if you like, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. Just look for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. And, of course, for the most fun possible that you can have on the internet, you can check us out on Twitter. So you can check us out on our main page at ScholarsOW for all the latest wrestling uploads. You can also check us out on our individual Twitter machines for just running commentary on anything in the world of wrestling and beyond. Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
Brian, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at Atomic Beanpole.
And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation, especially with a show like this. It's going to be a damn good one.
There's going to be a lot of tweets coming in from this Sunday.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be
This is going to be one a lot
Yeah.
of people are going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but then again, you already
And
knew
I might
that.
actually be on the ball this week.
Yes, and you already knew that, and you already know who we are. We're the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you all at Survivor
Hey,
Series.
Doric, what's better than booze?
More booze.
Oh boy.
Very obscure for people who